Hey everybody, welcome to another Con Support video. This one's on age word problems. So the first thing you want to do is define your variables. So this one says, in 16 years, Ben will be 3 times as old as he is right now. Okay, so let's let X equal Ben's age right now because we're going to input that. And we know that it's going to help us figure out his age in 16 years, basically, right? So it says, in 16 years, Ben will be 3 times as old as he is right now. So if we were to input his age right now, we could times it by 3 to get the age in 16 years and vice versa. So let's write that out. We have our variables here. Let X equal Ben's age right now in years. Let Y equal Ben's age in 16 years, all right? So we know that Y must be equal to, in 16 years, Ben will be 3 times as old as he is right now. So how old will he be in 16 years? It will be 3 times as old as he is right now. So basically, you're looking at Y equals 3x, right? Where his age right now times 3 equals his age in 16 years. All right? So that's the first equation we have, Y equals 3x, right? But then we also know that in 16 years, he's going to be 16 years older than he previously was, right? So if this is his age right now, X, and his age in 16 years is Y, then isn't it also true that Y must be equal to his current age, X, plus 16? Because these two things must both be true, right? If let Y equal Ben's age in 16 years, then his age in 16 years must be his age currently plus 16. That makes sense. So now that we have that, we can then take this and put it together, because we can take his X plus 16 here, and we can substitute it in for Y in the other equation, right? In other words, we can solve the system. So we're going to solve the system of equations here. We have these two equations. We've got to figure out where they're both true. And that's going to tell us our answer, or X and Y that makes this work. So we end up with X plus 16 is equal to 3X's. You want to get all the X's to one side, so minus X to both sides. You're going to get 16 is equal to 2X's. Divide by 2 both sides, and you can see that X must be equal to 8, okay? So what does that mean? It means that the X is 8. So how old is he right now? He's 8 years old. And then in 16 years, he'll be 16 plus 8, which is going to be 24 years old. And notice that his age in 16 years is 3 times bigger than his age currently. So the story makes sense. So it says, how old is he right now? He must be 8 years old. And that's how you do it. Let's start the next problem. I'll kind of pause it so I can go. All right, so in this problem, it says here, Michael is 4 times as old as Brandon is, and is also 27 years older than Brandon. So you can do X and Y. You can do any letters you want. I'm going to define my variables. So I'm going to say let B equal Brandon's age, because I like having a B for Brandon, and to let M equal Michael's age, okay? And they're both going to be in years, all right? So let's just translate this sentence. It says Michael is 4 times as old as Brandon. Okay, so that means that Michael, M, is equal to 4 times the Brandon's age, right? Because he's 4 times as old as Brandon. M is equal to 4B, okay? The other system of equation we have here, the other thing that must be true is and, right, is also 27 years older than Brandon. So we know that Michael is 4 times Brandon's age, and he's also 27 years older than Brandon. So that means that Michael also is 27 years older than Brandon. Brandon's age plus 27. Okay? So these are the two statements that we have from our sentence here, right? Michael is 4 times as old as Brandon. M equals 4B. And he's also 27 years older than Brandon. M is equal to 27 plus B. Okay? Once we have the two, we can just take the value of one thing and plug it into the other to find the solution of the system. So basically, we can see that M is equal to 4B. So we can just replace M with 4B. Okay? So we can solve the system using substitution. Bloop, right there. And so now when we do that, you get 4B is equal to B plus 27. All right. And the nice thing about that, you might be wondering, why did I choose to plug in the 4B? It's because I had M equals, right? So I could have done 4B for M pretty easily. I could also done B plus 27 in the other equation pretty easily, right? So you could have written B plus 27 equals 4B, or like I wrote, 4B equals B plus 27. Either way, you're going to have a pretty easy time solving this problem. Now, if they solve for B, for example, like they told us about Brandon in terms of Michael, then you would have just replaced the B in the other one with it. So it doesn't really matter which way you go as long as you have one variable that you're solving for, right? So you want to basically write everything in terms of one variable. So in this case, we have 4b is equal to b plus 27. There's only one variable missing here, just the b. So now I can solve. And so when we're solving this one, we're going to get all the b's to one side. So I'm going to minus b to both sides. You're going to get 3b is equal to 27. How do you undo times by 3? Divide by 3 both sides. And you get b is equal to 9. Okay, so that means that Brandon is 9 years old. Okay, which means that Michael's age must be 4 times 9, which is 36. Now we want to make sure that this all works. So it should also be 27 years more than Brandon. So is 9 plus 27 equal to 36? Yes, it is. So it says, how old is Michael? Well, Michael is 36 years old. And that's how you do the problem. It's the next one. All right, I'm going to set this one up for you guys. Oh, this is funny. It looks like it's the same problem. So I hit next, and then this now says 3 out of 4. But then look, it's Michael is 4 times as old as Brandon, and it's also 27 years older than Brandon. That sounds like a very similar problem, if not the same problem. I think it's the same problem. But let's just do it out. So let m equal Michael's age in years. Let b equal Brandon's age in years. And since we did this before, I'm going to write this pretty quickly. It says Michael is 4 times as old as Brandon, so we know that Michael is equal to 4 times the age of Brandon. We also know that Brandon is 27 years older than that he's also 27 years older than Brandon. So we know that Michael is equal to Brandon plus 27. And then you're going to substitute in and solve. So we get 4b is equal to b plus 27. As you guys saw, take away b from both sides. You're going to get 3b is equal to 27, and the answer is the same. That when you divide both sides by 3, b is 9. I wonder if there's just a glitch in Khan where they had the same situation here. So this time they're asking you how old is Brandon. Last time I think they asked you how old is Michael. I don't remember. Anyways, that doesn't make a difference. So Brandon is 9 years old, and Brandon is 9 years old, and Michael would be 4 times that, so he'd be 36 years old. So this time it's asking how old is Brandon. The answer is he's 9 years old. I guess it was just the same question with different person that they asked you to identify the age for. All right, let's do the next problem. Hopefully this is a new one. Yeah, this looks like a new one. All right, cool. All right, so let's translate this one. First thing is define your variables. It says Michael is 12 years older than Brandon. 17 years ago, Michael was 4 times as old as Brandon. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say let m equal Michael's age in years. Let b equal Brandon's age in years. Okay. So it says Michael is 12 years older than Brandon. All right, so Michael is equals 12 years older than Brandon. Brandon's age plus 12. Okay, that's our first equation. Now, there's another thing they're telling us. They're saying that 17 years ago, Michael was 4 times as old as Brandon. Well, 17 years ago, how old was Michael? Well, he was Michael's age minus 17, right? He was 17 years in the past. And that must be equal to 4 times as old as Brandon. So 4 times b. So these are our two equations here. We have m is equal to b plus 12 and m minus 17, right? 17 years ago, Michael was 4 times as old as Brandon. So we can now take the value of one variable and plug it into the other equation for that variable to solve in terms of the other variable. So I see that m is by itself over here, m equals b plus 12. So what I would do is I would just then take that value of m and substitute it in for m in the other equation. So let's do that. So we're going to just replace just like that, and then solve. Okay. So what you end up with is you get the value of m, which is b plus 12, and that take away 17 is equal to 4 times b. And so we can combine our like terms here. What is 12 minus 17? That's minus 5. So you get b minus 5 is equal to 4b. And then you want to undo times by, better yet, just get all the b's to one side. So minus b to both sides. And you're going to get negative 5 is equal to 3b. And you're going to divide by 3 both sides. And you can see that B would be equal to negative 1 2/3 years old. That doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't make sense. We must have done something wrong in the way we set the problem up or the way we interpreted this problem. So let me take a look at it and see what error I made. Must have made an error somewhere because you can't have a negative age for Brandon, right? That doesn't make any sense. All right, everybody. So I made a silly mistake, and it's good for you guys to see the process of how you can make a mistake and catch it, right? So obviously we know that the age couldn't be negative, so I would have checked it and realized it is not going to work, right? Because it has to work with the story, and so a negative age isn't going to work, right? So I knew that something was wrong, and I realized what mistake I made, right? So when I wrote the equation over here on this side, for 17 years ago, I only reduced Michael's age by 17. I didn't reduce Brandon's age by 17, right? And M is Michael's current age, and B is Brandon's current age. So 17 years in the past, wouldn't Michael be 17 years younger? And wouldn't Brandon also be 17 years younger? So now their ages are both aligned with that 17-year history, right, where they've been 17 years ago. And it says 17 years ago, Michael was 4 times as old as Brandon. So now this is a true statement because 17 years ago, Michael wasn't M. 17 years ago, Michael was M minus 17. And 17 years ago, Brandon wasn't B. Brandon was B minus 17. So now you have a true statement because 17 years in the past, these are the ages for each person, right? M minus 17 was Michael's age 17 years ago, and B minus 17 was Brandon's age 17 years ago. So 17 years ago, Michael was 4 times as old as Brandon. It's really saying that Michael in the past was 4 times as old as Brandon in the past. And now that we have the equation set up correctly, it should work just fine. So we're going to take the same substitution method we just used. We're going to take the value of M. We're going to replace it. Bless me. In the other equation with that. So let's do it. So B plus 12 replaces M. And we're going to substitute that value in. And we're going to solve. All right, so let's solve the equation. Let's do it in red. So we get B plus 12. Let's do that nicer. There we go. B plus 12 minus 17 is equal to 4 times the quantity of B minus 17. And what you get there is that same B minus 5 that we got last time. But over here you get 4B minus 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 7 is 28. So minus 68, okay? And now when you try to solve it, you get all the b's to one side, you minus b to both sides, you get all the numbers the other way. You no longer have a negative age, which makes sense, right? So you get negative 5 plus 68 is going to be positive 63, and that's going to be equal to 4b minus 1b, which is 3b. Solve for b, divide both sides by 3, and we can clearly see that the Brandon age is going to be 21. Okay, so that means that Brandon is 21 years old currently, which means that Michael is going to be 12 plus 21, or 33 currently. And 17 years in the past, that means that Michael would have been 16 years old, and Brandon would have been 21 minus 17, which is 4 years old. So Michael would have been 4 times as much as Brandon, right? So it all works. The story makes sense now. And you can see my silly error, right? So when you're reading and translating, you should be careful, right? If it's said in the past, you guys said both ages in the past, not just one. And that's it. So how old is Brandon currently now? Brandon is 21 years old currently. And that's how you do the problem. Good chance for us to see how to fix mistakes when they happen.